Hi there, I'm Kushan Mitra, contributing editor over at ThePrint, and I'm in a very sunny Goa right now. I'm actually at a place called Cabo. You must come here. The Arabian Sea, which is, rife with the monsoons, is lapping onto the coast over here. This is Cape Rama in English, and I'm driving the new Tata Curvv. This is not the EV, this is the new Hyperion Petrol Gasoline Direct Injection model. This is a very, very interesting car to drive. This new engine has 125 PS of power and 225 Newton meters of torque. It's a brand new engine for Tata, and it's been very interesting to drive. I'll tell you more about it. But the Tata Curvv ICE model, internal combustion engine, looks extremely similar to the Tata Curvv EV. Of course, it has different alloy wheels and a couple of different touches here and there. Of course, no EV signage anywhere. However, every single panel in the car is same. This, despite the fact that the EV and the ICE models sit on different platforms. This uses the new Tata Alpha platform. There are lots of things I've enjoyed about this car while driving today, and there are a couple of things not so nice about the car. I'll tell you about those while I'm driving the car. I've already driven it for about 50 kilometers. Now to head back to South Goa, cross the Manohar Setu again, and also drive the new Kyrotech Diesel with the dual clutch transmission. The very first dual clutch transmission diesel engine in the mass market. That'll be interesting to drive, but the Hyperion engine, petrol, is going to get a little bit more of a workout. So let's get going. So I've been driving the Tata Curvv with the Hyperion Gasoline Direct Injection turbocharged petrol engine. It's been 102 kilometers since I set off, went to Cabo and now heading back. And this has been a surprisingly fun car to drive. Now, reviewing and evaluating cars is not a game of top trumps. You can say that, rival manufacturers' cars have more power, but how does the power come on? This car has got a lot of punch in the mid-end. I'm accelerating right now. It's got a lot of punch. It's a fun car to drive. And I'm about to get onto the Manohar Setu, the bridge across the Zuari, named after Manohar Setu, the former Chief Minister of Goa and Defense Minister of India. Now, this engine has been really nice. And as you can see, I'm doing these turns. The new Alpha platform on which the Curvv is based, the internal combustion engine version of the Curvv is based, handles very, very well. This car's been very good fun to drive today. Yes, it's got some small issues. I do not like the shape of the gear knob, and truth be told, I'm not a fan of these Burgundy interiors, but that's a very personal aesthetic choice. You could like them, I don't. Now, the other thing I have to mention, though, is that it's a good thing that manufacturers are trying out new interior color options. It's fantastic, actually, across the board. And the overall interiors of this car, small things. I'm not a big fan of these door handles, but Tata has done these, this sort of finish around the AC vents very well. But the big elephant in the room when it comes to the Tata Curvv actually is the sunroof and the lack of headroom. I'm actually driving this car a bit lower than I'd like to drive an SUV because there's not much headroom. And the reason behind that is one of the biggest USPs of the car, which is the panoramic sunroof. The problem is the sunroof mechanism takes up space in a car. Now, I'm about 177, 178 centimeters, somewhere between that, or 5'11", and I don't have that much headroom at all. If I was 6 foot or 6 foot plus, I'd be sitting a lot lower than, much lower than I'd like to on an SUV, and this is a bigger problem at the back of the car as well. And I really think while the panoramic sunroof is great, and when the sun is a bit shaded like it is right now, I'll open it. It's been a very hot and sunny day, so I haven't driven with the sunroof with the curtain open, but the mechanism takes up a lot of space. It's a fantastic new bridge. It's beautifully made and named absolutely correctly. So earlier, by the way, when you're coming from Double M Airport and heading to North Goa, it could take you over half an hour across the Zuari on the old 2-lane bridge. Right now, I'm over the river and done in 2 minutes, driving at 80 kilometers per hour. That's the speed limit on this road. It's fantastic, this new bridge. Anyway, back to the car. So this headroom, this lack of headroom is a problem. Everything else about the car, the way they've integrated the instrument cluster, fantastic. I love the infotainment system. Of course, the ICE version of the Curvv doesn't get what you call that arcade.ev with all the apps and all of that over here, but it still has the ERA system. I've got Apple CarPlay running right now, which can also be displayed on the instrument cluster. Again, not a big fan of this backlit center part of the steering wheel, but overall this is a very nice car. I really like the fact that Tata Motors is playing around with colors. On the next one, they have that Barney, the dinosaur purple, and here you have that lovely gold color. Then this sort of theme of burgundy and gold stretches into the ambient lights as well. Let me just put maps on my center screen, and I'll show you how the light options over here are. So we get to ambient lights, and there's a very easy way to access the mood lights on this car. So you got the dark going all the way to the whites, just like on the EV. You've got the teal going all the way to the greens. Really nicely done, the color themes of the car. You don't have the entire spectrum. Of course, it's too bright for me to show you the ambient lights, but really nicely done by Tata Motors. So anyway, time to get back to the hotel and drive the diesel with the dual clutch automatic and let you know how that is to drive. Thank you so much for watching this part of the review. I'll just get to the diesel and tell you about that one. So in the morning, I drove the Hyperion engine turbo GDI. It's been a fantastic car to drive, and now I'll be driving this flame red, which has the Kyrotech Diesel engine, and the first time a dual clutch transmission has been fitted to a mass market car with a diesel engine. I'm really looking forward to the drive, so let's get going. And which color do you prefer, this gold or this flame red on the diesel? Let us know in the comments. So I've been driving the dual clutch automatic DCA, or which is what Tata calls it. It's also dual clutch transmission, which is there for the first time in a diesel in this segment. But that said, it's not the best implementation of a DCT, or maybe I've become so accustomed to petrol dual clutch transmissions being very fast, very snappy. This one still feels a bit lazy. I mean, right now I want the kick down. It comes in a bit late. At lower speeds, and I'm setting off from first gear going up to second, it feels a bit jerky. You just think this could have been done a lot better, or maybe it's the first time I'm driving a diesel DCT in with a 1.5 liter engine that it feels like this. Nothing wrong with it. It's still an automatic. It's still extremely efficient. I'm getting close to 15 kilometers per liter despite driving at speed. In Goa traffic. So economical, yes, but definitely not as engaging as the Hyperion petrol engine. Maybe, I know, when you drive the more exciting engine first and then drive the duller engine, it does give it. The other thing I must admit about this car is when okay, I'm accelerating now, it comes in, but you don't get the punch you would in a diesel engine. It still has 260 Newton meters of torque, but the power and the delivery of the power feels smooth. Doesn't, people want, when they buy a diesel, they want that punch, I guess. I mean, I like that punch in a diesel. It's not got the punch. So, in a manner of speaking, well, Tata does have a punch, but that's another joke. So, all in all, the Tata Curvv, between the Hyperion and the Kyrotech, is a fantastic achievement by Tata Motors. I mean, even with my cribbing about the diesel DCA, it still feels better than the manuals they have on the other cars. And the Hyperion engine is fabulous, but it doesn't take away from some of the Curvv's bigger flaws. Of course, as I mentioned, headroom being the single biggest flaw of the Curvv. So I'm waiting to see what else Tata Motors does on this Alpha platform. Maybe they'll develop a regular SUV. God knows what they'll do with the Sierra brand plate. Maybe they'll do something there. But I like the Curvv. But if you're above 5'11", both in the front and the rear, it's 5'10" rather. Marginal. But if you're above 6 feet, you cannot even consider this car. It's not going to be very comfortable for you. So, yep, these are my quick thoughts on the Tata Curvv. I hope to get it again soon, and then I will tell you a bit more when I do get it soon. So now time to head back onto the Manohar Setu.